What's up, motherfuckers? It's Agent Mad Hat here, and today I will be counting down the 50 favorite albums of this decade from 2010 to 2019. The 50 best. This is a list that I worked on. This is a list that was so hard to make, but I made it, and I'm going to share it with y'all right now. Number 50, Darkthrone with Arctic Thunder. There were a lot of Darkthrone albums that came out in this decade that were really good, but this one stood out to me because it blended their traditional black metal style with a little bit of doom and a little bit of traditional in there, and what happened is it worked so well, and I love it. Number 49, Winter Horror with Maestro. One of the best albums because it blends black metal with symphonics. It has a great storyline to it. It's really creative, and it's a great album to check out. Number 48, Wormwood with their debut album Ghostlands, a wonderful melodic black metal band that really showed their stuff on this album. Number 47, Traveler with their self-titled debut album. This was a band that seems like they're heavily inspired by Judas Priest, a classic metal band with the soaring high-pitched vocals and the great lyrics. It's a wonderful experience. Check it out. Number 46, Woad, Servants of the Countercosmos. Black metal, chaotic black metal. Really great riffage here if you're a black metal fan. Number 45, Panopticon with Kentucky. This is one of the things that maybe should not have worked on paper, but they made it work. It is bluegrass music blended with black metal in a way that is so creative, and I love it. Number 44, Iron Maiden with the Book of Souls. It's kind of low on this list, but it's a really great Iron Maiden album. If it's the last that they do, it was a great way to go out. It was epic, progressive, awesome Iron Maiden. The vocals still at his best. Bruce Dickinson still at his best. It is a great album. Number 43, Gloryhammer, Space 1992, Rise of the Chaos Wizards. Gloryhammer is kind of a cheesy power metal band, but it's so catchy and so earwormy and so relatable and likable with this crazy fantasy story behind it. I really love it. Gloryhammer. Number 42, another Gloryhammer album. It's almost a tie with the previous one called God damn it. I do not understand this. I forgot the name of the album, and I am sorry to you guys. Legends from Beyond the Terror Vortex is the name of the album. It is almost tied with 1992, but it separates itself in that it's more catchy, more riff-oriented, a little bit better, just by a smidge. Number 41 with Powerwolf with Sacrament of Sin. This was a great power metal album. I really loved the lyrics, the whole power metal aesthetic that went with it. Number 40, Blood Incantation with Hidden History of the Human Race. This is a great kind of tribute to Chuck Schuldiner. This is like the continuation with old school death metal riffs, blended with really complex solos and guitar riffs. 18-minute long song at the end of it. It just works so well. One of the best death metal albums of this decade. Blood Incantation, The Hidden History of the Human Race. Number 39, Cormorant with Diaspora. This was a black sort of progressive death melodic band that did this great album, and they had an epic, I think it was 17 to 20 minutes long at the end of this album. that told a migration story of going to the West. It's a really great album. You need to check it out. Number 38, he signed with Arctis, one of the progressive metal kings in Norway. Obviously, he was involved with Emperor, but he broke off to do his own solo project of progressive metal, and it works here better than almost any of his other albums. Number 37, Like Catafalque with Meta. This is a band that deserves the title of avant-garde. It's thrown around so much, but this album blends so many styles seamlessly and effortlessly to blend to make an awesome avant-garde experimental album. Number 36, Wolves in the Throne Room with Celestial Lineage. Atmospheric black metal that makes you feel like you're in the middle of the woods. Natural, awesome, entrancing black metal with Wolves in the Throne Room, Celestial Lineage. Number 35, Zero with Forgotten Paths. This came out last year, 2019. This is a band that we'll talk about later. An awesome, atmospheric, almost folky black metal band. A really, really heavy hitter this year. And next is a Moonsorrow album from 2011 that I cannot pronounce, but I'm going to try it. Vodiona Kalyeme Kuladen Masa. From 2011, one of the great Moonsorrow records that came out in this decade. I didn't like it as much as some of the other Moonsorrow albums, but that's not saying much. It was still a great album. It's still a great score. And then 34, A Neon with Extents, kind of black metal-y experimental type shit. It's a really good album. You need to check it out. Number 33, I fucked it up. Number 35 was Forgotten Paths by Seor. Number 34 was the Neon Extents. And 33 was the Moonsorrow album. 32, Deafheaven with Sunbather. This might come really low on the list for some of you, but there was a lot of albums I enjoyed more this decade. They brought the shoegazing black metal into the mainstream. They set the paradigm for it with this album. This is a really great, engaging album, and I recommend you check it out. But 31 is the next album by Deafheaven called New Bermuda. I actually think it exceeded Sunbather in a lot of ways. It was more concise. It was more to the point. Number 30 is Trollhagen with Obscure Anecdotes from Agnostical Masses. A kind of folk experimental type deal where he makes these silly ass vocals and he tells these crazy stories, and it's just experimental metal with avant-garde tendencies. Number 29 is Hail Spirit Noir with Ormagoy, a kind of bluesy avant-garde black metal band with psychedelic tendencies. Really good, you should check it out. Number 28, Caladan Brood with Echoes of Battle, a great epic black metal band continuing in the tradition of a band like Summoning. Really great. I wish they would come out with a new album. Number 27, Arch Matheos. The vocalist and guitarist for the original Fates Warning do a great job of progressive metal in this release, and they have had an album that came out this year. It's not on this list, but it's still very good. Number 26, Moonsorrow with Yomultan Aika. The great follow-up to their 2011 release. It takes everything about Moonsorrow, adds more black metal experience in there, and it supersedes the other Moonsorrow album from 2011. Number 25, Judas Priest with Firepower. Holy shit, their best album since Painkiller. I really believe that this was a great return to form by this band. I will forever love this album. Number 24, Tool with Fear Inoculum. Finally, after years and years, Tool releases their highly anticipated album, and it is so great. Some people might not like it for the repetition of the same idea. Some people might find it boring, but I find it very engaging, and I love this album. Number 23, Summoning with Old Morning's Dawn. Epic Tolkien-inspired black metal. If you know Summoning, you know it's epic. A lot of keyboard samples in it, and it's just a great, big, awesome album. Number 22, Tribulation with Children of the Night. A great blend of gothic metal, a little bit of black metal, a little bit of melodic death metal to come together and make such an engaging goth death metal album. Number 21, Panopticon with Autumn Eternal. They kind of dropped the bluegrass blend and went for a more traditional method of atmospheric black metal, and it works so well, and I listened to it so much that year, so it's so great. And now we're in the top 20, and this is a album I have so much love for. Number 20, Cradle of Filth, Hammer of the Witches. I didn't think it was possible after hearing their 2012 album, but in 2015 they came out with this album. It's a whole new lineup, 2 new guitarists, a new bassist, a new keyboard player, and it's just Cradle of Filth really energized with a more classic sound, and I love it. Cradle of Filth, Hammer of the Witches. Number 20 for this decade. Number 19, Obsequies with the Palms of Sorrowed Kings, an album that came out this year that may well be the album of the year. Great medieval black metal that incorporates medieval type instrumentals, classical with the harp and the hurdy-gurdy. Great instrumentals with this album, and great straight melodic black metal songs. Number 18, Ghost with Meliora, one of the best Ghost album. I know a lot of people love their debut Opus Anonymous, but for me, this album was the pinnacle of the Ghost experience. Number 17, Enslaved with Axioma Ethica Odini. This was such a great, wonderful album by Enslaved. Progressive Viking black metal, did the job well. Almost a tie with it is number 16, Enslaved End Times. I love this album. I listened to it so much. It brought out all the progressive, awesome, epic elements of Enslaved and brought them all together. Number 15, Nightwish with Endless Forms Most Beautiful. This is a great return to form by Nightwish. They got a vocalist that really works for them. Awesome folk, power metal, gothic metal songs. What you love from Nightwish with a new vocalist that works with them. Number 14, Winter Song Time Volume 1. I don't know if we'll ever get the number 2, but this one was epic. It was all the greatest elements of Winter Sun coming together to create an epic, awesome album. Number 13, Mastodon with The Hunter. This album from 2011 that made the Mastodon sound more streamlined and radio friendly, but it was so awesome and progressive at the same time. If you listen to songs like Stargasm, if you really pay attention, it has so many progressive elements to it, creative elements to it. Number 12, Neo of Ascaris with Portal of Eye, the debut of one of the bands that I think is a front-runner band, a band that is really going places with their progressive blackened death metal style, with the violins and the great instrumentation. They are really at the head of progressive death metal. Number 11, ICS Vortex with Stormseeker. His only solo album up to this point, but a great release. It's a great black metal progressive type album that just really showcases all the great elements that you love from his vocals. Number 10, Burzum with Bayless. His debut after he got out of prison that continued in the spirit of atmospheric black metal, but added a little bit of clean vocals, added a little bit more melody to it, and made a great album. Number 9, another Nebula Viscaris album was Citadel. All the elements from the first album, but more concise, more focused, more awesome. Number 8, Leprous with their album Cold from 2013, and also tied with that will be their 2011 album Bilateral. The kings of Norwegian progressive metal. To this day, I love the high-pitched vocals and the strength and the energy that they bring to it. Number 7, one that's not on anybody else's list that I know of, Perpetuate with their self-titled EP with great female-fronted vocals that also does the keyboard. They put so much energy into their songs, and I know a lot of people might say, oh, it's a rip-off of other styles, it's unoriginal, but they bring so much energy and so much fun to it that I don't care that it might be a kind of a clone of other bands in a similar style. Number 6, Sailor with the Aura. This is such a great album. It's a Scottish folk type black metal album that's very atmospheric. It brings so much to the table. There's so many folk elements that go with it that just make this band an awesome atmospheric black metal band. Number 5, Vector with Outer Isolation. This was a great follow-up to their Black Future album, a progressive black metal influence kind of thrash revival band, the kings of the thrash revival band at that time, with an album that was so concise, so riffable, so much awesome guitar work and awesome lyricism in this album. So in number 4 would be Tia Rita by Falkenbach. I know this is really high on the list for some people. Some people say, why would you put it this high on the list? Well, because I enjoyed this album so much. A blend of folk, Viking metal that is just awesome. The great standout songs are Where's Ravens Fly and Runes So You Know. There's a few instrumentals that people might not really enjoy, but I dig it. It's such a good album. Number 3, Arcturus with their album Arcturian. The finally 10-year return of this awesome avant-garde metal band. It makes a spacey sound. The greatest elements from all their albums come together with ICS Vortex on the vocals, and he makes a tremendous release that I will be enjoying for years to come. Number 2, Cradle of Filth with Cryptoriana, the seductiveness of decay. Does it deserve to be number 2? I would say yes, it does. It takes all the elements from Hammer of the Witches, steps them up, gives them more flair, does a more classic sound, but they also bring their own energy with the guitar solos, with the keyboard work, with the female vocals, with Danny sounding better than he has in a long time, with him writing better lyrics than he has in a long time. This album is the Cradle of Filth return to their great classical sound, the return to what made them great in the first place. And number 1, Vector with Terminal Redux. They redefined the thrash metal genre. They added progressive elements, some elements that might even sound like Pink Floyd. Their most memorable album of the whole fucking decade. This is a great release. This is the best out of the thrash revival movement, with progressive, spacey, sci-fi storytelling, tight riffs, insane solos, insane guitar work, insanely fast thrash spacey metal. Vector with Terminal Redux is a progressive thrash metal band that I will remember for years and years to come. The number 1 album of this decade, Terminal Redux by Vector. I'm out. Peace, motherfuckers.